Hey, welcome back to Comic Book Straight Talk. This is Terry the French Tickler. French, we have Eric.
The Knucklehead Eaton.
And Captain Dalian.
And we're glad to have you back. We'll be talking about a number of just different comic book related issues this time. We have first topic that a friend of ours, wanted us to talk about, and that's the constant rebooting and gimmicks. Are they driving away readers, or are readers coming back? So who wants to kick that one off?
Well, I mean, the most recent kind of reboot, of course, is the Rebirth, but it's definitely a reboot of the entire DC universe. Marvel does it as well. Marvel now, coming out with all the new titles, getting away from the Fantastic Four already, and then maybe with the X titles, with their Fox and Marvel controversy, as far as ownership and rights, and Marvel doesn't want to boost Fox, so on and so forth. Does it hurt readers? Short term, yes, I think so, but also it can bring in new readers. Comic book market, I think, is a niche market, and I guess any specialty is also a niche market, but it's a smaller one. Your average comic book reader now, I'd say, is probably early 20s to mid-late 30s. I don't know how many kids you see at Comic Empire now.
There's several, yeah. A few, but not a whole lot. A lot of them are brought in by their parents.
When I was younger in Tulsa, going to Price Mart and picking up comics at the Price Mart there, which was the grocery store, and then talking about Comic Empire, the comic store. It's been around forever. I mean, it's one of the oldest comic book stores out there, and I went there because I lived not that far from there. But over the years, you've definitely seen a ton of reboots, ton of gimmicks, gimmick covers. You've seen a lot with Marvel, their holofoil covers, their cutout covers. You had the Wolverine number 50 with the claws cutting through. You had the foily Venom Funeral Pyre number 1, foily Spider-Man 375. You had all the little hologram Spider-Man issues. You had the Spider-Man 365. Then you had the Web of Spider-Man number 90. Spectacular Spider-Man. Forget which issue on it.
Well, you also had the hologram covers on the X books.
And all the X Factor, X Force, X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. You had both
gimmicks, and like currently the thing is which we've always had in the past, but it got really bad in the 90s, and it's coming back to that. But it's being done a little bit differently, and that's variants again. But how that's being done differently, of course, we have our regular in-store issues that are variant, but now we have specialty, stores having their own variant. A lot of those have to be ordered online if you're not local to that shop.
Right.
So that is the new way of new gimmick for variants is store specific. Is that driving readers away? I don't think so. I don't think the store specific variants are. I think it's just you have to pick and choose which ones you really want to spend the money on.
I think it can, though, just because, let's say your store has a 1 in 50 variant. The regular subscribers get it as a second, hand market comes in to look for it. Now, cover price, let's say you're a store that doesn't increase price for the variant, which most don't. There are still some comic book shops that won't charge you more for it. They don't, they might not order a 1 in 500 variant. They might not order enough regular issues to qualify for that. But now that person has to pay $50, $60, $70. I mean, there's some that are $8,000, $9,000.
If they're just getting it for the cover, then yeah. But if they're wanting to read, if that's a regular title they're reading, they're still going to be able to pick up the story at the regular cover price.
Right, but majority of people that collect variants aren't picking it up for the story. They're going to have their own copy, their own reader copy with the regular cover, the variant, and with this,
I think
with the gimmicks and the
drive
reboots,
away are the people that are not reading the books.
Could be
the speculators,
right? But the speculators will drive the market.
Yeah,
if there was no speculators at all, and you had for Batman issue 500, we're going to have one cover.
Stick around. The speculators are going to be in it and out. If they can't.
Right. But I think speculators are a necessary evil.
They are. Back in the 90s, when the market dropped, you had variant covers. You had speculators.
You didn't see as many variants. You saw more gimmicky.
Variant, right?
Well, a lot of foil.
Foil, like we mentioned. But you had people speculating, and the big book they speculated on was Superman 75.
Oh yeah,
the death of Superman.
Right.
Yep.
People buying that, thinking that he was dead for real.
And then they had to buy more than one issue because they had it bagged up. Right. So they had to have one to read. Well, if you were a reader, of course.
But that, and then that, and
they
Valiant
printed
books,
so many of those.
So many of those were printed. That was what led to the fall of the market, and it's gotten better since then.
So you're saying specifically it was that issue?
It was that issue,
Or was it a combination?
it culminated with that issue. Yeah.
I mean, I think also you had that time, would that issue come in 92, 93?
91?
Maybe 91? That was the heyday of collectability.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you had every market.
Comics
Baseball
on
cards.
QVC,
I mean, it was nuts. The over publishing, the over making of over printing of everything. I don't know if I would tie everything to Superman number 75.
Well, I mean,
it was definitely kind of it backfired on a lot of people that were really hoping. It's not always speculator. For the guy that's read comic books for 30 years, it's something that he likes to say, I've stuck around with this series, I've stuck around with this publisher, and now I've got this one issue that's special. I paid more than I normally would, and then boom, it just dumps out value-wise. And that can be a big backlash.
I don't think anybody had to pay anything.
Well, no,
for that issue because they printed so many of them.
Well, when it came out, though, the thing went to 7 printing. When that came out, it was a big deal.
Right. It was.
Yeah, the day it came out, people were charging $100 for those issues.
Yep.
And what's sad is they were getting it until they announced a second print and a third print. And so I think of the Gimmick.
And it wasn't that good of a story either.
It really wasn't. No.
I know they didn't even kill him off for good.
I know.
He came back.
I think the gimmicky part that's really driving the customers away, and like you said, we did touch about it in the last episode with the Rebirth. The Marvel Now. Marvel just relaunched everything after Secret Wars.
And they weren't even done with all of the Secret Wars stuff.
No, it was all new, all different Marvel relaunch.
It's not the rebooting alone. It is the continually rebooting. I mean, they're doing it so often, you cannot get involved with the title or characters, and they change it on you.
Well, let's take Spider-Man, for example. The previous series before this current one went 18 issues.
Right.
So it went a little over a year before they rebooted it. Why?
Okay, touching that, with your experience, let's say the 18-issue run, we'll use it as an example. Let's say there's 15 readers at the shop that come in and, besides subscription, off the street stuff, 15 people buy the book. Mm-hmm. Love the book. They might start at issue 1, but they've read majority of the book. Issue 19, hey, it never existed because now we got a new relaunch. With the relaunch, with those 15 people, some of them are not going to continue. They're going to get mad and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. With the new relaunch, do you see 15 new people as far as the numbers staying the same? Do you see it going down? Or do you see, maybe this is going to be a good series. Then now the reading numbers go to 17, 18.
Initially, you'll see people take it off the list. They won't care. Right. They're like, they relaunched it. You know what? No, I'm taking it off. So you may have those 15 people may drop to 8.
Well, another thing with Marvel is their issues are $4.99 a piece. Oh, no, excuse me, $3.99 a piece. So basically $4.
But you get a digital code in the back for your book.
There you go.
Take out the digital code and charge me $2.99. If I want the book, I'll go to Comixology and buy it there.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, some people I could see maybe the code helps them. I don't think that is really a big draw though.
No,
I don't know. I mean, I know.
But
I do know readers that will buy
that's not
just the copy to keep bagged and boarded, and they will strictly just read the digital copy. Because then they can carry it on their iPhone or whatever and read it later and read in class, read it at work, whatever.
I don't think rebooting alone hurts. It's just this constant rebooting.
The constant rebooting and the constant changing of the characters. Even a certain artist may stay on the book 6 issues and be awesome, and then they get the new artist in and he's total crap, and so people get tired of that. And I think people are looking for better quality for their price. And honestly, right now, Image and Dark Horse are knocking it out of the park.
Oh yeah,
books.
Yeah, I think
$2.99. I think is a $2.99 to $3.50, maybe $3.99's a few $3.99s. But there's less ads, more pages, and also it's really the creator-owned books is what they all are, and it's better quality.
Do you think
covers better? The stories are better.
It seems like a lot of their storylines aren't based off, hey, this teenage boy got bit by a spider, or this guy come from.
No,
it's more real world kind of.
Well,
not necessarily. I mean, you got The Walking Dead. It's
not a lot of your typical superhero. I should say.
Right. I mean, come to my mind.
It's a different type of
books that have been with Image pretty much since Image started. Savage Dragon.
Yep.
And Spawn.
I think
those two have been the constant. Spawn's up to like 200 and almost 70 issues. Hasn't now? I mean, that's amazing for an independent to go that high. It's almost reaching Cerebus levels.
We have
at 300
audiences now that seem to be a little bit more savvy. They're just not looking for. They're looking for more titles that delve a little bit deeper than your just classic superhero. And this also hurts, I think, readers trying to come into the market. You know, they're like, well, what should I read? Well, you should pick up this, and then it ends all of a sudden. You know. So they just get into it. Now they're already like, should I keep going?
One thing I've noticed is I'll get to reading a series on there, and it's like I'm waiting for the next issue, and I may go 3 months before the issue comes out. Well, they take their breaks. They do 6 issues, you know, take a break, put a trade out of the first 6 issues, and then like a month later, start up another arc. And that's an awesome way to do it.
It's got good and bad to it. I think I kind of like that. I like how the BBC, what they'll do is, you know, with their TV shows, they won't do a 22 long or 24 long. They'll do a good, solid 13 issue or 13, you know, TV series episodes.
So here, I mean, why can't Marvel take, or DC in a sense, if DC's working on their problem, we understand that. But take, you know, Moon Knight. Big cult favorite character, okay?
Yeah, but not
Moon Knight.
I love Moon Knight.
Not the reader that, or the listener that suggested this loves Moon Knight. But why not take Moon Knight, do a 12-issue miniseries with a top-tier writer and a top-tier artist, okay, do that, and then maybe next year, do another 12-issue miniseries.
And the reasoning behind that is Moon Knight has shown in the past, he's typically not a character that can carry a long run.
Right.
So why not get the best that you can for a 12-issue series? That gives you, you know, if you do it once a month, an entire year. And then during that time, you can be working on a new, really top-tier story.
Let's Moon Knight, he's a popular character. Like I say, it's a cult favorite. Deadpool showed up in New Mutants 98. Did he have his regular series when he first started? No. He had, 3 4-issue miniseries?
Yeah, he had Circle Chase, and then, is that what came out, 94?
I believe so, yeah.
And then 97 is when he got his regular
series. He went, 3 years?
Yeah, because...
with miniseries. And that grew the popularity of the character. Now, granted, he had 4-issue miniseries, that was done, and then about a month or two later, they announced another 4-issue. That's how it should be done.
His real popularity came when they changed the character and gave him that, you know, made him into a more funny,
more witty.
He was kind of that way in the Circle Chase a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I really think that first series that was just fleshed out the character a lot more. But it's the constant messing of the characters and everything that's driving the readers to other books.
The classic saying that we've used before: a good
jumping on point's a good
jumping off point. So,
well, now if you sitting down, Marvel execs, DC execs, do you ask them to try to steer away from superhero-esque characters and mimic Image, Mimic, IDW?
It's worked for them for 60 plus years, but the readers now aren't the same mindset of readers back then. You need to update your characters. You need to keep stuff fresh. And honestly, if I could say something to them, I'd do the miniseries thing. Don't automatically give a book like Moon Knight. Don't give them an ongoing series, because after about 6 or 8 issues, it's going to start tanking. It's been proven.
You can only do so much.
Except the 70s series. And that was because you had a top-tier writer and you had an unknown artist.
Another thing that not only the reboots, but usually with these reboots is crossovers.
Crossovers hurt. In fact, I bring the story that in my mind about when they did one of the crossovers that in the X books. Peter David didn't want anything to do with it. He was writing X Factor at the time, and they pretty much told him, "You're writing this book. You will do this."
Right.
And he doesn't like doing intercompany crossover. He's done them now. But if he is in the know and working on it, then and he can tailor the stories to that. But then all of a sudden, just nope, you're in a crossover.
And it's just been it seems to me it's been in multiple, not only reboot but multiple crossovers, just over and over again.
Yeah.
And you don't want to pick up all these titles to be able to get the full story. You want to pick up the titles, the characters that you really enjoy.
Right.
And they're trying to force your hand. You know, if you really want the full story, you need to get these other issues.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if it was put in you guys' position, as far as to keep the ongoing reader happy, new reader interested enough to become an ongoing reader, would you prefer long series like Amazing Spider-Man ran 700 issues, or would you prefer the miniseries? This is Moon Knight. This is Moon Knight, and since Marvel uses real world places. This is Moon Knight in Las Vegas or something.
Right. For me, I would prefer. I would do the miniseries like the BBC thing. Do 6 issues.
I don't think I need
to see 6 issues sells.
Title coming out every other week, once a month. Is good enough for me.
Right.
So I mean,
and that is one
that way you can do a 12-issue series.
Right.
And while you're doing that 12-issue series, you can work on another top-notch story for the next year.
Because it goes back to, I don't remember who said it, but every character has one awesome story. Where every writer has one story for a character. Find the best writer that wants to do a Spider-Man story. Do a 12 issues. Hey, Joe Blow over here has a great Spider-Man story. So, you could, at the end of your story, could you kind of leave it to where it kind of ends, but can kind of be picked up and you can kind of segue it if you're writing the 12 issue story and for the next one. Or don't worry about segue. Just don't kill the character off at the 12th issue.
Yeah, exactly.
The only one rule, it's you can write a great story, just you can't kill the character off. Or maim them.
So I know in the past, all the rebirths, all the gimmicky stuff has made a lot of longtime readers upset. Some have quit. Some have, mumbled and continue to pick up issues.
Fanboys love to threaten. I'm never going to read this again.
We talked about with the Aspen stuff.
Next week.
Fine. We won't carry any of the Aspen variants with the Harley Quinn. We won't order them. Okay, that's fine. People will buy them. Do you think it would help the big two, Marvel and DC, cut back some of their characters? There's tons of titles.
Oh yeah,
you go to
I meant to mention that. Yeah, there's just way too many Avengers titles, way too many X-Men titles, way too many Wolverine appearances. Right. All these characters. Deadpool now. Wolverine for the longest time. I think we mentioned this in one of the last previous podcasts. For the longest time, Wolverine was in every team, every title. It seemed like, and now it's Deadpool. With DC, it's Harley Quinn. There's too many titles, too many appearances of this character. If you collect Wolverine, some people, they're already a collector, and a lot of collectors are a little compulsive about it. They want to get every single Wolverine appearance they can possibly get. Right. And that kind of eventually just wears them down and drives them away. Maybe they don't care about that long term because they want to maybe get the most money out of this particular person as quickly as possible.
Right. Now I know that they're doing this series. DC's doing this imprint called Young Animal, and it's taking some of their Vertigo-ish characters that they lost. They're kind of updating them and stuff. How would you update the character or team, like say Doom Patrol?
Like FF and Doom Patrol, they're sort of outdated teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not really sure how you update an outdated team. You have to look at what the current audience really
You reboot. You relaunch.
You reboot. Well, we're talking, I think, specifically here about specific characters or teams that they've tried over and over to really reintroduce them into their universe, but they're just not taking it, and that's just because they're a team that just seems to still linger in those ages. The Silver Age, Golden Age, whatever, and how would you? You've been a big Fantastic Four fan.
And in the case of FF or Fantastic Four,
with this, what we were just talking about, with these, they're going to have to refresh the characters in some way.
Yeah, they're going to be refreshed.
But would helping not just having a continually.
I think
shorts.
I think an 8-issue miniseries or a series of short miniseries. I think that would be great. And don't get money hungry. Just keep that,
Just do these short.
Just do this 8-issue miniseries. Take 2 months off. Start a new one.
That would be a good way of bringing in some.
I do know I am actually interested in the Doom Patrol relaunch they are doing under the Young Animals, and they're actually doing Shade the Changing Man. Only it's Sandra the Changing Girl, I think, or Sharon. It's going to be a female. I'm interested in it because the writer is Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. And he's kind of heading up this whole thing. And he has written a couple of great little series, Umbrella Academy, through Dark Horse. I'm interested to see what he does with this. I think it could be really good.
Like you've been a big fan of FF. My team that I really is Doom Patrol. So I'm interested in this. I think this may be the best Doom Patrol in a while. I enjoy the characters. Negative Man, Robot Man are my two favorite. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what they're doing. I don't know. Are they going to use Negative Man? Are they going to use Negative Girl?
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if they're using. I think they are using Robot Man.
Robot Man seems to be the Chief. I always like the Chief. He's kind of your Xavier, really, to some degree.
Yeah, because the Doom Patrol was DC's answer to X-Men.
DC's X-Men, yeah. So, as a whole, I'm not really sure how. I mean, you're just changing the characters around
X-Men
a little bit.
I was saying X-Men was kind of DC's answer to the Teen Titans.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Who was the answer to the Teen Titans?
As he said in the previous show. X-Men was there.
Yeah, I would like to see a new successful Doom Patrol team. Man, those classic ones, like the early issue. My favorite one, probably the first Doom Patrol I read, is where Robot Man goes and sees the Guru. Just a great read. So if you're ever able to get that one, pick that one up and read that.
Do you think with some of the relaunch Rebirth, would it be... Okay, now I'm going to throw out some characters. This is spoiler alert if you don't know their secret identity.